welcome to our station. Welcome to Seawell Field Days. We have a message for you today that we are bringing because usually we have field days in June. This year we're having it in August. And we have noticed a pattern in all of the research that we've done about overwatering that occurs late in the irrigation season. And so that's the message, and we're backing it up with data that we have from working with Salt Lake City Department of Public Utilities. The information here is based on our application of water maps, the software program that we have that integrates parcel data, land cover data, water meter data, and weather data to calculate landscape irrigation ratios for individualized properties. These landscape irrigation ratios then can be compared among properties. And we are delivering water reports to these single-family residential customers in Salt Lake City. They can access them through their billing data. So that's the data behind it, but there's a conservation message that we hope will resonate with all of you and your constituents. Chris Gerard is the software engineer and masterful manager of data, and she is going to talk about all of the graphs and the data that shows what we have seen over and over in the communities that we've worked with.
All right, so I'm just going to go over these 4 charts for you real quick. This first one is weekly total ET over 3 years. I did it by week because daily is too busy, you can't see anything, and monthly is too boring. So you got weekly total ET across, the different lines are the 6 Utah Climate Center research grade weather stations in the Salt Lake Valley. And the blue shaded area is the irrigation season, April 1 through October 31. So you can see that the ET peaks right around July, beginning of July every year. And each weather station is different and each year is different, but there's still general trends. This chart shows basically ET versus need versus use. So the dark blue lines are total annual ET across those 6 weather stations. The dark green is how much water the turf grass needs on average based on that ET. So if there's about 36 inches of ET for the year, then turf grass needs a little under 30 inches of water. The middle green bar is trees and shrubs, and the light green is sparse vegetation. Obviously these are really general categories, but still useful. The orange bar is average outdoor use based on our data, and again in inches. The turquoise bars are how much water we estimate landscapes need in inches based on the vegetation we're seeing in people's landscapes. So you can see in 2021, people used a little more water than we estimated they needed, but in 2022 and 2023, they responded to the drought and Stephanie's messaging, and they, I love saying that, and they started watering less. You can see they're watering a little less than we think they need. This chart over here shows the same data but on a monthly basis. So the dark blue line on top is monthly total ET across those weather stations. The orange line is how much we're estimating people are using each month, and the turquoise line is how much we're estimating they need each month. So you can see the beginning of the year, they're using a lot less than we think they need. They're letting rain do the watering for them. But then around June or July every year, their use supersedes their need, and so they're watering too much. This graph down here shows the same thing, just slightly differently. So Joanna mentioned the landscape irrigation ratio, which is basically a ratio of water use to need. So a value over 1 means that you're watering more than you need, under 1 means less. You want to aim for around 1, which is this red line here. So you can see April, May, they watered way less than the plants needed, which makes sense because there's rain. They don't need to be watering those months most of the time. June, you can see a difference in years there. 2021, they started watering more than they needed in June but in 2022 and 23, they didn't. But all 3 years, they watered more than they needed in July throughout the rest of the irrigation season. So they're responding and they're watering less than they need overall, but they're still watering more than they need at the end of the irrigation season, starting in mid-summer and going to the end. So I guess we need to educate them better about how plants need less as it starts.
Okay, so I'm Stephanie Dorr. I'm the Water Conservation Manager for Salt Lake City Public Service Area, Salt Lake City, Mill Creek, Holiday, and Cottonwood Heights. The reason this program is so important to us is, one is it helps us, we're fully metered. We read meters regularly. We know how much water people use by their meter every month, and we know how much water we deliver every single day. What I don't know is how people use that water. So we can say use less water, but use less water how, when, where. So programs like Water Maps helps us deeply refine our understanding of our individual customers' water use patterns. It also has helped bring insight into the characteristics of that landscape. And that's really been helpful in designing other programs. For instance, the Salt Lake City Turf Trade Program. He's going to push that button now. Step away. Just step away. So anyway, it's so exciting. Anyway, so what this has helped us do is improve our messaging so it's much more detailed. We direct all of our customers to the website where they can go and look at not just their bill now, but they can look at their own individual water map. We've applied water maps, for instance, to also city properties, so it's helping me help other city departments to make budgetary and personnel and landscape decisions about their properties. We're applying it to commercial properties. It's helped us be more specific in our messaging. I think you can't be anywhere in Utah and not hear to use less water. But it's really hard to get more specific information, like how do I go about that? And programs like Water Maps or the Water Check program help us greatly refine that messaging so that it is more meaningful and therefore more actionable. Interesting side note, we make assumptions that people with a lot of lawn are the ones who are overwatering the most. Not always the case. Surprising number of properties that are small footprint, small lawn footprint, though they don't use a lot of water, we now know through water maps that they're still overwatering and they still have capacity to conserve because they don't fully understand their low water landscape. So everybody has that capacity and the opportunity to conserve, and programs like Water Map help us refine that information so we can get better actionable steps to our customers. All 65,000 households, 68. That's it. I think you guys, you heard the buzzer. You got to go somewhere.